Just I'll wait till you've got something to say, then I'll start making noise.
Okay, good. That's totally my fault. We have stupidly 2 set lists on stage that are different. I have something important to say. I'd like another PBR and Guinness. Half and half.
Could be an explosion.
That's how Richard Pryor caught on fire, you know.
Can I talk now?
Please.
Anybody here live near JPL? In Pasadena? No, that's fine if you didn't. But when I was a little kid, I used to. And it caught my imagination, space travel and stuff like that. Remember the Voyager space probe? I know, I'm alright on the cutting edge, aren't I? The Voyager space probe, they slung this spaceship around the sun to get enough speed to hurl it out into space. And what's really remarkable about it is on this spacecraft was a record with logical instructions how someone who was technically adept to pick up the passing spacecraft might be able to figure out how to play it and hear sounds of Earth. And on this record were different sounds of Earth like whale song and babies laughing and some great examples of classical music and also some cool examples of American music. There was a little song called Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry and a song by Blind Willie Johnson called Dark Was the Night, Cold Was the Ground. Blind Willie Johnson was a gospel guitar player from Texas in the 1920s. He was a Baptist, but he played some really danceable music. I'm not sure how that exactly worked out. Maybe evolved. And I'm going to do a song for you now. This is one of the very first things that I started to learn when I went, wow, I gotta learn how to do this. And it's a song about the Titanic. The sinking of the Titanic. Now, if you were a gospel guitar player and looking to make your point about the hubris of man, the sinking of the Titanic was a great story. The biggest moving thing that mankind had ever made that they claimed that even God could not sink. Ha ha ha. It's a nice story. But there's a type of tourism, if you have enough money, you can get a seat on a submarine and go down to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean and look at the water grave and say, 1,200 people for only about $4,000, if that's your idea of a good time. If you have that kind of money and you're looking for a good time, I want you to talk to Wammo and I. Work something out. They discovered something when they were going down to look at the remains of the Titanic. All of the rivets on the Titanic, on the hull, up above the waterline where they would easily be seen were your standard, yay, big, strong nautical rivet. But all of the rivets below the waterline where they would not be seen were all smaller, lighter, cheaper. So it recasts the whole story. The whole tragedy of the Titanic is not the hubris of the captain running too fast. It's trying to get by on the cheap. And suddenly it's a real topical song. So Titanic from that boat, people that are on that brig got moved. I'm on the road, and the people that are on that brig, bad to half bad to watching the midnight they were tired. Well, they heard that a great excitement, a many gunshots were fired. Got moved.
pray for themselves. Proud Jesus, will you lead us now? Help us light this stress. Got moon.